All right, so in this lesson, we are going to talk a little bit about the LSAT in general and what makes up the LSAT.
Yeah, before we get into the actual substantive meat here of the test and what's on it, brief overview. There's three types of sections that you're going to encounter on the test, right? In total, you'll do 5 35-minute sections, one of which is not scored, the other 4 are scored. But when you look under the hood at what's on there, there's only 3 types of sections.
Logical reasoning, analytical reasoning, more commonly known as logic games, and reading comprehension. So first, let's start with LR, since LR is going to make up about 50% of your score on the test.
Yeah, LR, logical reasoning, consists generally of brief passages, written passages, about a paragraph in length, sometimes 2 paragraphs, but taking up about that much space on the page. And then you're going to be asked by an actual question stem, we call it, to do some logical task, to analyze that passage in some way, right? And then this test is always multiple choice. You then must select the best answer from among 5 to do whatever task is asked of you. Some example is they'll give you a passage that contains a grave logical flaw. The person comes to a conclusion that they shouldn't have arrived at based on the evidence they gave, and you're asked to best describe how they messed up. So doing tasks with a brief passage, it's all reading, all analytical thinking, very straightforward in that regard.
Absolutely. And how about reading comprehension?
Reading comprehension, the 35-minute section there is divided into 4 longer passages. Imagine a page is divided into 2 columns, much like a newspaper, taking up about one of those columns on the left side of the page set. So fairly long, about 4 to 5 paragraphs in length. And then you'll have about 5 or 6 questions that ask you to do tasks analyzing that passage. What was the main point? What would the author agree with as far as a viewpoint regarding this? And everything you do, every question you're asked is going to be based on analyzing that passage and pulling information out of there.
Absolutely. And finally, we have logic games, the gem of the LSAT.
The most famous section.
Yeah.
At first, logic games, we should say, is going to be everybody's most difficult section. Only one scored section is going to be logic games. Same as with RC. Logic games consists of 4 separate little logic puzzles. And the scenario might be something like you're trying to order 7 people, right? Or you're trying to divide 9 people into 2 or 3 groups, something like that. And you're given a bunch of rules for doing that are going to determine how you can do that grouping or how you can do that ordering. It's all logic. It's all inferring what you can know based on what you've already been told. So it ends up feeling very much like math, like a puzzle of some sort. So people end up liking it a lot, but at first, very difficult to know how to approach this section.
So don't get too intimidated by logic games at first. A lot of people get intimidated early because it's the most unfamiliar, it's the most foreign, but it's honestly the most fun and it's the easiest one to master. So you're going to do fine with that. You do have to put in a strong effort, but don't get intimidated by the presumed difficulty up front. All right.
Indeed.